So there we go.
So Andrew Bermudez, who I've known for about 4 or 5 years now, and he's a terrific person, is a really interesting guy. He came to America as a teenager, I believe, and unbelievably was able to train himself how to speak without an accent at all, which is for a teenager is a really difficult thing. I know that if you come before you're 8 or 10, it comes pretty naturally, but Andrew, I know, worked really, really hard at that. He's started out at Lee and Associates as a broker and started with his restless mind to determine that there had to be better ways to generate leads and to organize his business than Excel spreadsheets and pencil and paper, and dove right into introducing technology into his business. And as a result of that, he was inspired to start his first company. Oh, by the way, he was one of the youngest vice presidents ever, I believe, at Lee and Associates. I think at age 24, because he was generating so much business, he got the boost. And he started his first business called Digsy, which one of the ways I met Andrew was by being a Digsy user. Digsy was a lead generation, or is a lead generation service, and they had a neat system where they send you leads, or they send leads out to the people who are approved Digsy brokers. You decide whether it's a lead that you want to take on, and if you say yes, they'll appoint you as the broker for whatever lead that is. I've closed the deal with Digsy, and so this actually really, really works. So Andrew's been helping people like me, because I am a broker in addition to being the QuantumListing founder. It really has got a great track record of generating leads for brokers, and he was generous enough to share his expertise with us today. And Digsy has gotten even deeper into the lead gen business, and so we're very lucky to have somebody with Andrew's wealth of experience and knowledge sharing this with us today. All right.
Thank you for the introduction, David. I really appreciate it. Hey, everyone. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us. I know that you don't make money unless you're closing deals, touring properties, and writing proposals. So we're going to make this actually super quick. I'm hoping it'll be fun. That's the way that we designed it, and try to give you as much value as possible. So what we're going to be going today, I'm just going to go back a couple slides. We're going to be going over 19 tools to help you generate commercial real estate leads online. The difference between this is that you're generating leads more passively than actively. What that means is, while you're out touring buildings, while you're out, prospecting a big fish and spending a lot of time and energy on some specific project, these are tools that can help you generate leads that are incoming, meaning people reaching out to you without you having to consistently cold call them to generate new clients, whether it's tenant rep or landlord rep or buyer rep. So a little bit of my background there. Yeah, I did start Digsy. We're actually funded by one of the board members of Zillow, the former VP of product at LoopNet, the former CEO of Apple Computer. He bought Steve Jobs' company, Next Computer, brought them into there, and basically brought Steve Jobs back in. And we have a lot of well-known angels and venture capitalists who also fund us. So we are a venture-backed company. First things first, it's all about growth, right? If we're trying to find companies who are moving or needing more space, we definitely want to find out, what are the signals? Where do we look for these people? Usually what we're taught in commercial real estate is pick up the phone and start dialing for dollars. The problem is, you can make hundreds of calls and maybe land an appointment, but that person doesn't need space for like 2, 3, 4 months, and you got to pay the bills today, or you're trying to build your wealth today. So if you're like me, you hate to be at the mercy of the unknown. So I found, along with different strategies, hacks to basically find those people that I want to today. And one of the tricks is to find companies that are growing is to go to ZipRecruiter. And the reason why is because you can actually type in, for example, right here at the top, you can type it in ZipRecruiter, okay, I want to find businesses that are growing in Fullerton. When you type that in, immediately it shows you all the companies, and it shows you that Anthem is hiring a lot. They're hiring 1,800, almost 1,900 people. Same thing with, I don't know why Anthem and Anthem Inc. So Anthem's just handling a lot of people. Apple One's hiring a lot. So guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call these people. I'm going to go online, try to find out who the decision maker is and that. So this gives you an idea on how to find people who are growing and who will need your service.
Andrew, let me interrupt you for 1 second. Your screen is not showing right now.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Not good. Thank you for the heads up on that. Huh, there we go. All right, cool. Perfect, so I'm gonna go back to that really quick so that we can go over this. So we're gonna go over that, the people who funded us, and then here's ZipRecruiter. So right here at the top, there's a little bar that allows you to search for jobs by location. So let's say I'm based out of Fullerton, California. I type that in and I can see Anthem's hiring a lot of people. They're hiring almost 2,000 people here, or 4,000 people actually. Apple One's hiring a lot, so I'm going to find out who's in charge of those companies, and I'm going to call that person to see if I can help them find space. So that way I can find them before any other broker finds them by cold calling and eventually getting to them. There's another tool called Crunchbase, and this is really good because it lets you find companies with capital for growth. So usually it reports funding events, so whether somebody's raised a Series A round, a seed round, which is usually after an idea is validated by a startup, investors would say, okay, yeah, this thing has legs, let's give them a seed round so that way we can get them to really prove it out, and then after they really prove it out, then we can raise growth capital like Series A, Series B, etc. So what you can do is you can go to Crunchbase, and you can basically type in, you can search by funding round. So for example, I looked at all the seed companies, meaning that, okay, well, they're not startups, they've proven that they have some traction. So I want to call these guys and develop a relationship before they develop a relationship with another broker. So guess what? I'm going to go find who the CEOs are. When it comes to startups, it's really easy because they're usually listed on their website, the CEO and the co-founders, and I'm going to reach out to them. So funding events, essentially what it means growth. Growth means space needs. So that's why people raise capital. Same thing with AngelList. So whereas Crunchbase shows you events that happened, AngelList shows you events that are about to happen. So companies will go to AngelList and they'll say, hey, I'm going to be raising $1 million or $2 million or $3 million bucks or 500,000, whatever the amount is. And they use this as a marketplace for investors to find them. So it means that they're actively looking for money. So I'm going to look at all of the seed companies and how much you're raising, because most likely if the business is good, they're going to get funded. And I'm going to be able to develop a relationship with these people early on before they get into any broker's radar. And I'm going to be able to help represent. So that's actually a good thing. Also, if I'm a landlord or if I have a listing, I can find tenants who are perfect for my my space there. You can also search by location, which is pretty awesome. So let's say my space is in San Francisco, I can look in San Francisco. And the website's actually not angellist.com, it's actually angel.co, not .com, .co. The next one is going to be Sniply. And basically what Sniply does is a lot of brokers are already posting articles on LinkedIn. They're sending out emails with a link to download a market report or a newsletter. They're posting on Facebook groups. They're posting on Facebook. They're posting on Twitter. They also have their own blog. Sniply gives you a really easy tool that when you're sharing any information in any of these platforms, when you're sharing, let's say, an article like JLL teaming up with Google, this was in the news yesterday. Basically, when somebody views that, I can have a little call to action here, me pretending to be a broker, right? And I go, hey, need office, warehouse, or retail space for your business? Try Digsy, it's free. Make sure that people, a lot of people don't know that tenant rep and buyer rep services are free. So go ahead and make sure that you're always saying, hey, it's free, and let them know the reason it's free is because the listing broker splits their commission with me. So, and that's if they ask. You don't have to put that here. But this gets you a lot more mileage out of everything that you're doing, because you're actually, when they're looking at your information, you're prompting them to go, you know, actually, I do need space. Let me click there, and then they can contact you as well. If you guys have questions, go ahead and put them on the chat box, so that way we can address them as soon as we're done going through the slide deck. David and Julia, are you guys tracking those right now?
Yeah, so far we are, no questions yet.
Fantastic. All right. So the other thing too is a lot of people don't know is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. We're mostly familiar with the free version of LinkedIn, but LinkedIn Sales Navigator gives you a lot more reach, and it lets you see people who you aren't even connected to. It allows you to have bigger filters and better filters. Like you can, for example, with this animation, you can search by geography, industry. You can see people who you're not connected with. And you can basically think of it almost like a Dave and Brad, or a Dun and Bradstreet, and like I was going to say Dave and Buster's. That's pretty funny. Zoom info, and these platforms can be really expensive. Like Discover.org, which I don't have listed here, is $1,000 a month. This costs under $100 a month, and it gives you not only you know, who's there, but you can search by title. You can do a lot of things, and then you can even see what their updates are to have at least a conversation. Like if I see somebody talking a lot about, let's say, property technology, and they manage a brokerage firm, I'm going to reach out to them and say, hey, you know, we're a property technology company, saw some of your posts on Twitter or on LinkedIn, would love to chat with you and get to know you. And then that way we can open up the conversation and start developing a relationship and find out if they have needs for lead generation for their commercial real estate business. So it's one of the other things. It's super easy. And the main thing that I love about LinkedIn Sales Navigator is somebody's more likely to do, and these are statistics, they're 40% more likely to do business with you if somebody they know referred you in or connected you with them. So what I'll do a lot of the times, if I find, let's say, that broker who's talking about prop tech, I'll look on LinkedIn and see how I'm connected to that person. It'll say, hey, Dave at QuantumListing. And I'll reach out to Dave and I'll say, hey, Dave, you know what we do? This guy's talking about prop tech. I'd love to meet him. Can you make an introduction? And then he can send an email introduction with both of us carbon copied, and he can connect us. And then my likelihood of talking with him is a lot higher, and connecting and success rates. I'll tell you this. For example, when we've raised funding for a company, everything's been through our referral. We've never reached out cold, because early on we found out that by reaching out cold, our success rate was virtually zero. Next thing is cold sales, email, and follow-up. So I'm going to go over this metric a little bit later, but email has a 4,400% ROI. Think about that. For every dollar you spend, you're getting back $44. So it's pretty huge. So what we want to do is we want to basically take a look at what can help us reach out via cold sales emails, and how can we automate the follow-up. And there are these things. There's a tool called HubSpot, and that's just one of the tools. There's tons of these tools. But what you want to look is, you want to look for a feature called sequences. And what this allows you to do is you can upload a list of emails with people's names. Let's say you can grab this from like your Apto, your Salesforce, your Digsy AI, CRM, anywhere you want. And you can upload them into HubSpot. And you can basically reach out to people individually and just basically set up what's called a sequence. So you can tell these systems, like, hey, send this email template, which says, hey, John, just wanted to see if you have any space needs or whatever. And if they don't respond within 3 days, go ahead and send this other follow-up and reply to the original thread. So there's some context. You can do that. And hey, if there's no activity after the second email, schedule a follow-up call for me. And then it'll prompt you, and then you can call them. So it's basically, you're creating a sequence of events based on different rules that can automate a lot of the work for you. So the one thing about HubSpot is you cannot, unless you're on a higher paid version, it limits you in the number of mass emails you can send out. So the initial ones, you're probably gonna have to do them one by one, but there's a lot of tools out there if you just research. You can always reach out to us as well. David and I, and we can refer you to a few things. But this is a great tool, especially if you have to touch a lot of people to generate one lead. Another thing that we don't think about is many brokerages will use Constant Contact and a lot of different things, but the problem is they usually don't know what those services will provide you. And there, for example, on Mailchimp, there's this thing called member rating, and there's a lot of other tools. And member rating basically shows how engaged that person is with your emails. Are they opening them? Are they reading them? Are they clicking them? So usually 5 stars is like the highest you can get. So basically, whenever I send a campaign, I can look at the original list and say, okay, I'm gonna call up all of these people that are there. And a lot of these names I know personally. So it's pretty cool that they're so engaged. But I'm gonna basically, let's say I send a newsletter of a new building that's breaking ground. I can go into my list as soon as I send it, I can see, oh man, let's say the next day or the following day, I can see that, you know, these 10 people right here are highly engaged. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick up the phone for each one of those people, and I'm gonna start developing a relationship with them and see if they have space needs, because they're highly active. Also, if they're unusually active, you really wanna reach out to them, by the way. Another thing that people don't know is Mailchimp has actually started, and we're not sponsored by Mailchimp, it's just we use it internally and we're very impressed with it. We get a lot of return on our investment. But Mailchimp, oh, and by the way, we spend like over $500 on Mailchimp every month. That's how good it is. But it can be as low as, you know, less than $100 a month. But Mailchimp has this feature called Postcards, and what it does is it gives you an editor that makes it really easy for you to design a postcard and send that postcard to prospects. And you can do this with a new property listing, you can do this with a deal, a tenant rep or a buyer rep deal you just did, etc. You can also do it sharing some market information. Just make sure to add a call to action that says, hey, for a free market report or for this, for that, contact me here. Because unless you have a call to action, the likelihood they're just going to read it and you're not going to prompt or spark any idea right away that they want to reach out to you. You're just branding. So make sure to include a CTA. But what you can do with this is you can upload your mailing list and with addresses, email addresses, etc. But also, if in all of their databases and every other system they hook up to, that person in that company has an address in the system, it'll find the address for you. And they handle all of the postcard shipping, they handle everything. So it's magnificent. So do take a look at that. Also, Mailchimp has this new feature that's come out, which we use a lot. It's called landing pages. And what that lets you do is easily, without having any tech knowledge, you can go in and basically create a landing page. And that basically you can offer, for example, let's say you send out a newsletter with a market report. Well, you can create a landing page that when they go to click download market report, it lands them on this page, right? For example, for me, it's been like, hey, download a sample letter of intent, and they can fill in their information, and you can decide what information you collect, whether it's first name, full name, email address, phone number, whatever you want, company name, any other info, and then they can download it there. But what this is going to do is out of all the people that you've sent out that email to, you're gonna see who's serious because they're going through this effort to download that material. And then from that, you can reach out to these individuals right away because they're showing high signs of interest. And you can do that for example, if you wanna share marketing materials, downloads, freebies, whatever, just put things behind a lead capture wall, because it helps you capture and see who's actually looking at your stuff, and then you can target that person specifically because they're showing interest in something you're doing. So you want to reach out to those people, and that could be like property brochures. I would personally do this with property brochures, let's say on LoopNet. I would go in LoopNet and I would create a landing page for that specific asset, and I would say, hey, to download the brochure, you can actually enter a link in LoopNet. And then what will happen is they'll land here, and then now you'll see who's actually looking at your stuff on LoopNet. Not only the people that I just came into your listing and left, but the people who came into your listing and actually viewed the brochure and everything else. And you can do that with market reports, letter of intent, property brochures, calculators, spreadsheets that maybe you're in order to market your you wrote a blog post on how to calculate net operating income, NOI, and all that stuff. So it's a really, really powerful tool. We use it a lot. The other thing too is you can use DocSend. It's kind of similar, but not really. DocSend doesn't allow you to create a landing page, but what it does let you do is it lets you share an individual file via a link, and you can have it so that, let's say you send a brand new listing to 1,000 people. Well, the people who actually want to view the listing, you can say, hey, have them enter their email address. And when they enter their email address, you'll see which one of the recipients is actually interested in your property. And the most important thing about DocSend is it actually measures how long they're spending on that document and in what slides and pages and how many times they've looked at it. So what's really cool is if they spent, for example, we have 5 people that are looking at like your offering memorandum, but 3 of them are just came in and left, but the other 2 came in and have spent like 5-10 minutes and visited that document multiple times. Those people are interested. I would call those people. And also, when you if they forward that email to somebody else, you'll capture that other person's email here. So it might have been somebody that you didn't email, but that got forwarded it. So you can find that person online, reach out to them, and see if you can do this with them. So it's almost like spying on who's your next customer going to be without the negative connotation of spying. Now, the question is, we're talking a lot about email, and we're talking about a lot of email tools, etc. And the biggest problem that comes up that I hear, and we've experienced ourselves, is how the hell do we find emails? Do we just call every office and find them, and then we have to spend all this time? Do I hire an assistant to do it? And yes, for some people, you will have to do that. But there are a bunch of services out there. One of the easier ones is findemails.com. I've personally used it. So email, I mentioned, is 4,400% ROI. Every dollar you spend yields a lot more. So finding email addresses is no longer hard. You can actually go here, and whenever you have a Chrome extension, so whenever you're looking at a profile, it'll find the email address for you. It'll also, you can upload a list, and it'll try to decipher what the person's email is for you, and then spit out that list for you, and then you can upload it to your Mailchimp, into your email sequence automation, into your CRM, whatever you're using, your email marketing program, etc. So this is a really, really great tool. Also, a lot of brokers will say, hey, you know what? I don't have time to put a newsletter together. I mean, I want to grow my business, but I'm stuck touring buildings, and I'm stuck writing proposals, and I got to pick up my kids from school, etc. Well, there's actually this tool that a lot of people don't know about called Revue. So it's REVUE. And what it lets you do is it lets you access your Twitter and your Facebook articles, and then there's this little tool that's a browser extension, and you can also use it on your iPhone or your Android phone. So whenever you come across an interesting article on real estate or whatever you want to share with your network, you can actually just add it to that pocket. And then what will happen is you can create a template, and then on the right-hand side, it will show you stuff that you can put in that newsletter. So like literally you can jump in, and within 5 minutes you can have an entire newsletter built with news in the market, with stuff from your, let's say, your website or a new market report, and literally send it to all your mailing lists. So this is super great. So it's Revue, REVUE. Also, a lot of people don't think about this, and it's Yelp. So in Yelp, we can find hot places that are happening. Most people don't know that Yelp is not only for restaurants. You can find furniture stores, you can find service providers, you can find doctors, you can find a bunch of people. Depending on the business, usually when places are really high rated, they will look to expand unless the business owner just wants to have like a lifestyle business. A lot of people want to build a big company, a big corporation, an entity, kind of like a McDonald's or a chain or whatever. So usually if they do well at their first or second or third location, that may signal that they're looking for space. So I would search for all the people with the highest rating in a specific area for a specific niche and start reaching out to those people. This is great for retail brokers as well. There's also Quora. So Quora is a question and answer website. What you can do is a lot of people ask commercial real estate questions on this. And usually you can see where in the world they are, or you can Google them. And then, for example, I can put right here, like the word find office space, and it's gonna show me all the questions. Like, for example, how can I find office space for a startup in downtown Palo Alto? This is my prospect. I'm going to, guess what, find out who that person is. I'm gonna call or email them or answer their question here and try to get a meeting. So remember that Quora. There's a tool called TweetDeck. I can't pronounce it. TweetDeck. That's my Ecuadorian Hispanic self talking. Sorry, guys. So TweetDeck is actually a tool from Twitter, and what it does is it lets you listen to what's happening on Twitter. And you can actually listen for keywords. Like, for example, I put here looking for warehouse space, and then it's gonna monitor in real time people talking about warehouse space. I'm gonna jump in here once a day, and for example, I see this guy Daniel Wright. This is a real tweet, by the way. It says, hey, I'm looking for either a renovated warehouse unit or one that I can renovate myself, or a similar type of space. Any help would be great. Guess what? If that person's in my area, I'm gonna reach out to that person. So the one thing that TweetDeck, and maybe you'll find it, but I haven't been able to find, is to narrow down the search by location. So usually I'll just type this into the browser, search.twitter.com, and I'll look for this keyword, and I'll basically narrow it down by location because it gives you the ability to do that. So TweetDeck is a great tool, so check that out. Google can actually monitor the web for you, which is really cool. And it monitors it in real time. So what you can do is go to alerts.google.com or just Google alerts and you'll find the page. And what you can do is you can enter keywords that you think signal that somebody is possibly your prospect. For example, relocating headquarters. Those tend to be big deals, like north of 100K in square feet, so 100,000 square feet. So I can say that and create an alert that's ongoing. So every time that somebody posts that they're relocating the headquarters, whether it's an article or anything else, I'll get notified. And for example here, publicly traded San Diego firm moving HQ to Nashville. And I'll reach out to these people and see if they found. Maybe I have somebody in my company or a broker that I know that can help me co-broker that deal in Nashville, and then we can make money on that. So Google Alerts. There's also QuantumListings lead capture, and I don't want to do it a disservice explaining about it. This is a tool that really excites me, so I'll let Dave talk about this.
Well, thank you, Andrew. So QuantumListing lead capture is a new tool we recently introduced, and when people come to our main page, they will see they have two options. They can either enter a location to do a search themselves, or they can start filling out a form on this page, and with the asset type that they're looking for, warehouse, office, retail, etc., and then also select whether they're looking to buy or lease the property. And then they hit continue, and it'll give them a few more questions: size, timetable, and contact information. And if you are a subscriber to QuantumListing lead capture, that lead will go to you if it is a lead that is in your geographic area. And also within QuantumListing, if you're a QuantumListing member, on your profile page, there is a button that lets people contact you because they want your help looking for space. And additionally, there is a pop-up on your listings. So after somebody's been looking at your listing for about 15 seconds, which is enough time to see that there's some real interest in your listing, then they can also enter their contact information and engage your help that way as well. So that is it in a nutshell. Back to you, Andrew.
You want to go over this form example?
Yeah, so you can see that we tried, the more information you require somebody to input, the less likely it is that they will do that. So we've tried to make it super simple. We pre-populate, if it's on a listing, the retail, the type of asset and transaction. Then the only information that's really mandatory is the location that you're interested in and the contact information. Everything else is optional. You can really vet the information. And then, of course, with our concern for people's privacy, we want to make sure that you are okay, or that the potential tenant or buyer is okay with their information being shared. So that's why we have a little checkbox there.
Cool. So this is another thing about this. I think you kind of went over this stuff altogether.
I did. Yeah, so this is what's on the listing pop-up that comes through, and it pre-populates with the address so that you know what it is that they're looking at.
Cool. All righty, so we'll jump. We also have a lead capture tools that are free. So over at Digsy, what we do is we're a lead generation company. We basically help brokers generate leads. So we have a few freebie tools, and then we have some paid for tools. And some of the paid for tools are in select markets, just FYI. But we wanted to make sure to drive enough value by showing you guys tools that you can use today, which is what Dave and I have done. So one thing is the lead capture tool that we have. So I don't know if you guys know this, but 53% of people search for a person or service provider online, and they're actually researching that person. So like, let's say, for example, Tony is going out and prospecting a large industrial user and has been keeping in touch and sending postcards and sending mailers and stopping by. When that person has a need, they're going to say, hey, I need to double check and see what this guy, if I should contact this broker, this broker, this broker, I want to get the best of the best. So people will actually search for that person, and guess what the first two things to pop up are? One, their LinkedIn profile, and two, their broker profile on their company website. Those carry the most weight. It's very rare that the team website or a blog pops up. So you want to make sure that you jump in front of that traffic, but you also want to make it easier for them to contact you right away, because they might get tied up. And if they're looking at your profile, they go, you know, Tony looks amazing. You know, he's worked with Hillwood, Brookfield, Magna TA Associates, etc. But I'll reach out to him later. I got to look for his contact information. This allows me to, the link capture link and widget prompts the person saying, hey, did you know I can help you with your real estate needs? And you can also do it for put a link as well. So a pop-up and a link. And basically what it'll do is it'll go out and collect information. You can place this on your broker profile, and it'll just show when people visit your specific profile. Your LinkedIn, you also can place the link on your LinkedIn profile saying, hey, if you want to save time finding space, click here. Also, you can put it on your blog, so you can have this little pop-up and a link on your blog, or if you guys have a personal team, a personal or team website, we can do this. And this is 100% free. If you guys are interested in using this, go ahead and go to digsy.co. So digsy.co/lead capture, all one word. All right, and this is kind of what it looks like when somebody goes ahead and clicks on this. That basically it'll help you capture. There's no Digsy branding. It looks like it's coming from you and your company, and it basically says, hey, you know, where are you looking? Southern California, Bay Area, blah blah blah, other, what cities you're interested in. It'll collect all the relevant information, like their budget, how much space they need, how many years they've been in business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it'll collect their first name, last name, email address, and that. And this, like I mentioned, just go to digsy.co. As soon as they fill that out, you're going to get an email, and it's going to say, hey, new website lead captured. It's going to give you all the details, the property type, and their contact information, which I've blurred out on purpose. So that way you can jump on it right away. We also have a tenant rep lead service, which you can find at digsy.co/leads. However, this is in select markets only. So I'll talk about the select markets in a minute. But basically what we do is we have a listing service that's 100% free for tenants and buyers to search space, kind of like think about like LoopNet 3.0. So we have that, and then it's 100% free for listing brokers and landlords to list their spaces. So we don't make money that way. Throughout the search journey, somebody looking at leads, etc., or looking at spaces, we prompt the tenant or the user searching for space saying, hey, would you like to save some time finding space? We have a professional that can help you for free. And then they'll basically go through a form of questions, and then we'll capture that lead and we'll send it over to you. So for example, last month, we had almost 600 leads dispersed to brokers, and we have a lot of room in some markets. For example, we had 30,000 people using the website to find space last month. So digsy.co/leads, and it comes with built-in management software. So for example, when you receive a lead, it'll put it in this dashboard, and also you can manage it and email people and send email blasts and all that stuff there. So with that being said, if you guys have any questions, we'd like to jump on those. We don't have contact information, but you can just Google QuantumListing and Digsy. You can always reach me personally on Twitter, my full name, Andrew Bermudez. And Dave, do you want to share how people can contact you?
Absolutely. On Twitter, you can reach me at QuantumListing. And I just put Andrew's, oh, I didn't do that. And my email is david@quantumlisting.com. And I love talking to people. Here's my phone number, 914-470-5719.
Great. And then if you guys want to reach my email is A and my last name. So A, B as in boy, E, R, M as in Mary, U, D as in dog, E, Z as in zebra, at getdigsy.com. So GETDIGSY.com. And my phone number is, you can reach our main office, which is 866-MY, so M-Y, Digsy, D-I-G-S-Y. And if we don't pick up, go ahead and leave a voicemail. We'll call you right back. So with that being said, thank you guys for joining us, and let's see if anybody has questions. Let me just turn off my sharing, and I'll turn on my camera. And there we go. All right, do we have questions, Dave?
We do not have any questions yet. I think people were dazzled. I think they're soaking it all in. I have one more that I thought is another possibility for people to use, and that is if you have a WordPress site, it may work with other types of things. WordPress is a way to build your company website. You can use something called Sumo, and there's a free version of Sumo. It will create a little pop-up and help you build your mailing list through that as well. And you can sort of hack it into being a lead capture thing too, but it really works best as a email collection device.
Oh, here's, we have a couple.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll take this first one. It says, how do you drive traffic to your lead gen pages? Great question. If it's really hard, so you have to piggyback off of stuff that's already getting hits. So what you want to do, for example, what's getting a lot of hits? If you have listings, it's going to be your LoopNet pages. If you go into your analytics, you're probably getting anywhere between 30 to 100 and some odd thousand people viewing your listings. So you want to make sure that you put all of the marketing materials, all the stuff that a tenant will, or a buyer will want to see behind a landing page. So what you do is, instead of uploading the PDF, you put that link to the landing page so that you can capture their information and their interest on your list. So that's one. Piggyback off of what already has the traffic. So you do that. The other thing too is your personal, believe it or not, your broker profile is getting a lot of traffic, because guess what? If you work for Colliers, or you work for any firm, even if it's a regional or a boutique, people are searching and finding you online, so Google's surfacing you up to the top. It's more likely that people are actually significant advantage for the company has over you. So make sure that when people are finding you on your listings, on your website, or on your broker profile, that you can route them to a landing page. And you can also, depending on the listing service, instead of putting the PDF, have it be a link to your landing pages. And another thing that's getting a lot of traffic is, and people are seeing, is going to be your updates on LinkedIn, your updates on social media, and then when you're sending email blasts, you want to put anything behind a landing page. So don't go out and don't do this, because I did it early in my career, and this was the stupidest thing and the biggest waste of money I had ever spent. I spent a lot of money, and it's building my own website to try to get leads. I got my ass kicked by my company and the online marketplaces like LoopNet and CDFeed, etc. You want to piggyback off of what's already generating traffic. LoopNet, your broker profiles, your company website, and your email newsletters. So I hope that answers that question.
Okay, so Mario, I see you had a question about, I guess it's about quantum listing lead capture. Hopefully I understand your question correctly. What is the purpose? So the purpose is to help you as a broker generate more leads. So if a customer, a potential customer, or even a fellow broker is interested in your lead, they can fill out that information, and it's just an easy shorthand way for people to let you know what it is that they're looking for, so that you can contact them and hopefully get them in a car and out on a site tour, so that you can make a deal.
Cool. So it doesn't seem like we have any more questions. Anybody else have a question? All right, looks like we're good. All right, so just feel free to reach out to us if you guys have any questions or we can be of help. Dave, as always, pleasure. Julia, you've done an awesome job. I know you're hiding behind the scenes and not taking credit for the awesome work you've done, but you deserve a ton of the credit. So thank you, everyone, and have a great week.
All right, thank you, Andrew. It was really wonderful. And Julia and Andres from my team want to thank you for all your help. And to everybody who is watching now and who will be watching in the future, thank you for spending some of your time with us. And we will be sending out this recording shortly. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.
See you guys.